The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and the determination that whether we win or lose, we have given the best of ourselves to the job at hand. With this positive note, let us begin today's interactive session. We have with us a very honorable dignitary of the Nagaland Police, Mr. Rajashekara N, who is an IPS officer and the DIG of the Nagaland Police. He is a 2007 batch IPS officer of the Nagaland cadre. Welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you that in your 12 years of service as an IPS officer, what are the different designations that you have held and which states have you worked in?
I belong to the 2007 batch of IPS. I joined in 2008 December.
Right.
So till now I can say 12 years of government service in IPS. In 2014 I went on central deputation to CBI and again come back in 2018 October I joined here. So 4 years I was in central deputation. My first posting in Nagaland Police after our probationary period was as Assistant Commandant in Nagaland Armored Police Battalion.
Okay.
Then it was placed in New Delhi. So I was posted there as Assistant Commandant. Thereafter I worked as SP Longlang, SP Special Branch in Kohima also. In 2014, as I said, I gone to central deputation to CBI. First I was placed as SP Special Crimes in CBI headquarters, New Delhi. Thereafter I was moved to SP Banking Securities and Fraud in CBI cell Bangalore. Right. Thereafter I was transferred to Guwahati as first as SP, then later after a few months I was made as head of the branch of CBI Guwahati for both anti-corruption branch and economic offences wing. So this was the 4-year tenure I spent in CBI. Okay. Yeah.
So you have mentioned that you have worked in many places, right? Like Guwahati, Delhi, Nagaland, etc. Can you tell me that out of these states, in which state have you faced the most challenges or difficulties in delivering your duties? Also, can you cite an example of a very critical or a dangerous case that you have handled?
More dangerous place, nothing set like that. Of course, in policing we come across some certain challenges or certain challenging situations. While in SP Longlang, we came across a case where one of the former minister was carrying 1 crore rupees during the elections. And we had to apprehend him and we had to seize the money. Thereafter, some court issues and all those things. That was one of the time that was quite challenging. Another challenging is when we gone on to CBI deputation, especially when I was head of the branch of CBI Guwahati, where I was holding charges of anti-corruption branch, economic offences wing, and some time for additional charge of Manipur, Impal branch also. So while working in CBI, we had to meticulously plan regarding conducting of traps, conducting of joint surprise checks and all those things. This includes a lot of planning and meticulous thing. So it was quite a good tenure and a quite good learning experience, I can say. Yeah.
So in this context only, when we are talking about the very challenges and the disturbances in the different states of India, I would like to ask you, as a bureaucrat, what is your opinion on the security system of Nagaland? Like people from outside Nagaland are of the opinion that Nagaland is not a very safe place to live in. This is in turn affecting the tourism also of the state. So can you tell us how strong the security is in Nagaland?
Security is not such a great concern, I must say. Secondly, it is viewed more negatively, unnecessarily negatively about Nagaland in the other parts of the country, we can say. Yes. It is not so like that. Because the crime rate is less in Nagaland. Our society is Christian society. Basically, the crime is less, we can say. That is my perception. Of course, we have the measures like ILP and all those things as a precautionary measure also. And the customary courts here takes place. Because here, yes, there is a lot of potential for tourism, and if we develop tourism from if the government think of developing more tourism, then the people may come into Nagaland in more number. Of course, the government of India is talking with the underground groups and there is a framework agreement and all those things. Government and the Nagaland government will take care of that. But as a police officer, our job is to maintain the law and order and all those things. I think that Nagaland is a better place, a safe place. Here the people are very peace-loving people, and they are very straightforward, I can say. And not such a great concern as a safety, I think so. Like.
So according to you, Nagaland is a very safe place to live in, to explore, right?
Yeah, cozy and the natural beauty. Right. These all things you have to take care. Of course, the development is an issue compared to other states. But yes, if you take the atmosphere, weather, and the ecological balance, and all those things, natural beauty, indigenous culture, and all those things, this is a nice place to live in.
Thank you so much for your insights, sir. Okay, so now let us discuss about the UPSC exam. You cleared the UPSC exam in 2006, right? Since then, there has been several changes in both the exam pattern and the syllabus of the UPSC exam. So can you tell us how difficult or how easier has the exam become now?
It has both views. On one way, it has become tougher, and one way, it has become easier. Right. One way, it has become easier on two aspects. One is that there is no second optional now. Unless and until up to 2009 or something else, there were two optionals. Now the UPSC wants a more level playing field. That is very good. That all people will write equal number of subjects, face the same subjects. On the tougher side, we can say a little bit of general studies. Now, of course, the general studies paper has reduced from 300 to 250 marks, but the choice of questions is very less now. Okay. That means that you have to attend all the questions. And now there are more questions in both in general studies as well as in optional. For example, in optional, earlier there were part A, part B, and you had to attend 5 questions, and almost most of the questions are 60 marker questions. Okay. Now it is not the case now. Now within 60 marks, you have 10 mark, 20 mark, 30 mark divided into this one. Hardly you find a question carrying a whole lot of 60 marks. That means to say that UPSC wants the candidate to go through the entire syllabus, at least know something of all the syllabus that this one. Earlier maybe the candidate who is writing the mains maybe thoroughly studying 70-75% of the whole syllabus, and he or she could have cleared the examination. But now, since the pattern has changed, there are more questions and the choice is less, both in optional as well as in general studies. Okay. UPSC wants us to study more and write all the answers. That is on the tougher side, we can say. That's why we can say the cutoff marks also has come down a little bit. But yes, the optional paper has been taken place. The level playing field is this one. Another change is that UPSC wants the candidate to view analytically with application level. Somewhere the current orientation, current application, somewhere how good it for the societal questions of analytical nature it is coming. So it is not so easy that you by heart some of the answers or some of this one and you come this one. That is not possible.
So sir, current affairs is a very important part of the UPSC preparation.
Yeah.
However, a humongous database adds up every single day. So can you tell us how to filter the topics to study for the exam?
Yes, very good question. See, current affairs is the heart of our UPSC exam, especially civil service examination. I must say, if you go through the newspapers thoroughly, and if you see the channels like DD News, Rajashekara TV, then almost the candidate can address all the areas, all the general studies. This is my personal view. Because in current affairs, how the candidates, there are two issues. The candidates, what they do, they don't study current affairs regularly. They think that just before a couple of months, they have the notes of a coaching institutes or a students make or some websites, they make a huge blog of current affairs and they can go through all once. That is not correct approach. Go through daily. Study the newspapers at least half an hour or 45 minutes a day. If you cannot study any other subject, at least you read that newspaper. See, the general studies, it says, the syllabus itself, general studies as if a well-educated person understands. What is a well-educated person? A well-educated person is one, according to me, who is attempting a civil service. A well-educated person is a one who can understand and comprehend a day's national newspaper thoroughly.
Right.
Economics, be it social science and technology, be it the politics, be it the current affairs, be it the social issues and all those things. If he understands the whole gamut of the what is happening, that is a well-educated person. So UPSC always tries to ask from that point of view. So current affairs, what my suggestion is that go through the newspapers regularly, take one or two nationals, not making too much of one, make one national newspaper and daily watch DD News or Raj Sabha TV. And Raj Sabha TV, the documentaries I must say and the programs I must say, they are excellent. Yes.
So sir, most of the aspiring students are aware of the examination process. But what they are not aware of is the process that follows. Like for example, how is the training session like, or how is the cadre chosen? Many things have also changed in that aspect, right? So can you give us a brief on it also?
Yes, first of all, the training session, when you got into service, first you are given a rank. Based on your rank, your category, and based on your rank and category, you will be given a service, be it IAS, IPS, Indian Foreign Service, Indian Revenue Service. There are 22, 23 services grouped as Group A and Group B. Examination is the same, as you know. When you chosen for a service, the 3 months basic foundation course is in Labasna, that is for Group A services. Now it is distributed to several places because of the increase of the candidates. After 3 months of basic course, you will be after your as per your service. For example, if you are in IPS, you will come to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy in Hyderabad. If you are in IAS, then you stay in Labasna only. If you are in income tax, then you go to Nagpur. Like on, you will be divided into. Since I got into IPS, since I was writing the exam again, I missed the foundation course that time. As you know, the persons who doesn't get into Indian Foreign Service or Indian Administrative Service, they can skip the foundation course. They can postpone that one and can write the examination again. So I directly attended the National Police Academy in this one. It is a very good, I must say, it is a very excellent training institute. I can say it is a very, this one, morning 5:30 to evening 6:30. They keep us all the busy. Basically, the training aspect is divided into two, outdoor and indoor. Morning 5:30, it starts with outdoor drill and with some other class like horse riding, swimming and all those things. Around 9 o'clock, just half an hour, 45 minutes break will be there after the morning sessions. You will come for the indoors classes where you will be taught CRPC, IPC, Indian Evidence Act, Information Technology, Police in Modern India, and several, and law and order, investigation, everything. They teach us till 1:30. Thereafter, 1 hour break will be there. Again, 3 o'clock, 2:45, we are again go for the outdoor activities. Again, outdoor activities comes to an end by 6:30. After that, we are asked to play some of the games. After that also, they keep sometimes busy with the cultural activities and all those things. So all the time we are kept busy. Besides this one, we have the long march, jungle attachment camp. We have the other activities outside the academy sometimes. These things goes on. So it was really both for the physically and mentally that grooms the a candidate who has just got into IPS to an officer like. They try to build an officer like qualities in all the this one. And mind you, both the ladies as well as the boys, boys and girls, they have the equally trained. And lady officers are also do the same, all the exercises. That is like another male officers. Yes. And another part of your question is that how the cadre is chosen. See, the cadre is chosen one thing, insider or outsider. For example, if you have 4 vacancies in Nagaland, sometimes it is chosen as 2 from insider, 2 from outsider. 2 from insider means persons who are hailing from Nagaland and get into civil services and get into IAS or IPS and they get the same state like Nagaland. If there are another 2 vacancies has to be filled by the outsider means, depend upon general merit or the category, other state people will come and occupy that post. For example, I am from Karnataka. I am an outsider.
Okay.
Selected in that batch, and I got this this one. So this is one thing. Second thing, it depends upon the ranking also. Sometimes your rank, you may be first rank and you may not get the home cadre, or you may be the last rank but you get the home cadre. It depends upon the vacancy and what rank you lies.
Okay.
That is also there. But nowadays the cadre chosen is quite different. Now they have made it a zone type. Earlier the apprehension is that, for example, a top ranker and may get some of the states that he may or she may not like. So prevent that one. So now they can choose some of the zones like South Zone, North Zone, East Zone, West Zone. As of now, I understand. Then South Zone means some states they can most preferably they get the South Zone like that. So that is the cadre which is chosen.
Sir, for certain subjects like geography, history, political science, we get enough notes and materials to study from, or books also are available in abundance. But for some non-conventional subjects like international security or international relations, we do not usually get the notes or the materials to study from. So can you give us some preparation techniques or from where we should study for these subjects as well?
Basically, they concentrate on few things. One is the left-wing extremism, that is called Naxalism. J&K, Jammu and Kashmir, that is the cross-border terrorism. Northeastern insurgency and all that, along with the lynching, mob, cyber security, and all those things. So these almost they revolve around and they change towards the changing scenario on the ground. The best way to deal with internal security is update on day-to-day knowledge. For example, HAFSA, Armed Forces Special Powers Act, that is in Northeast. Sometimes there is an argument whether it has to be taken or not. So we have to deal with the daily situations. For example, today there is a mining, some people have been trapped in Meghalaya. That is one of the questions. There is a lynching mob. There may be a question on that one. There is a terrorist attack. That is a question. There is a cyber security issue. Some people have hacked our government websites. That is a cyber issue. Cyber security issue. So these are all the issues. The best way is to deal with the current affairs. Whatever the issues, sometimes what happens with candidates, sometimes the terrorism act, this means they just take it this one. But what are the causes for terrorism? How we are poor maybe poor, or how we could not handle the terrorist attack if it has happened. Like this, we have to analytically examine what are the law enforcement agencies, what the CBI do, what the state police will do, what is law and order. And if we go through these kind of questions and attempting this one, then we can update our knowledge on internal security. And another question area you asked, international relations. See, international relations has taken a huge leap, are very important especially. First thing is that there are two aspects. One is that India and its neighbors. See, we have to deal with the neighbors. So our relations with the neighbors is the foremost importance, be it with China, be it with Pakistan, be it with Sri Lanka, or be it this one. Especially, they concentrate on particular issue. For example, India-China border issue or economic issue, like that. For example, a question may ask, due to the trade war between USA and China, how can India take the advantage of this situation? How it affects India's this one? This kind of a question. Or from WTO stand, we unite together because we fought as a third world countries. How India and China stand together in the WTO negotiations. That may be the one. On one area, India and China may differ, and another area, India and China may be this one. See, if you see, China is the largest trading external partner for India. If we consider one nation as this one, of course, European Union is the biggest trading partner. If you consider one nation, then China is the largest in trade. But we have a huge balance of trade, negative balance of trade. But with USA, we have a balance of trade as a positive thing. How it affects? For example, when the Trump administration comes, they told that we buy oil, shell oil from United States. It is a win-win situation we got for lesser price, and they want to narrow down the deficit. So these kind of things. So they ask these kind of questions. With Pakistan, they ask about the Kashmir and all those things. They may say, Kashmir is the heart of the relations between India and Pakistan. Explain. They may ask like this. Together with this one, they add Afghanistan. Afghanistan, how Taliban, this one. So if you come to Sri Lanka, then we can say fishermen issue. There was a question that domestic compulsions will derive or will outline India's foreign policy. Explain. For example, we have a fisherman, Tamil origin. Yes, we have to deal with Sri Lanka. So that is the domestic compulsion that will lead our foreign policy. That is the question they may ask with Sri Lanka. Yes, with Bangladesh, we have both the river water sharing, Teesta, Farakka and all those things, and problem of enclaves. Of course, the recent government has dealt with that one. So if we see that with the neighbors, we have one particular area where we mainly dealt with. Of course, the economic relations also taken place. Another is that apart from the neighbors, the next issue is with the other bigger nations like India and USA, India and Russia, India and France, India and Japan. Like that, you have to deal with other things. For example, India and USA, what are the strategic relations between this one, apart from the nuclear deal? India and Japan, what are the strategies? We have a swap currency agreement with Japan. What does it mean? That one. And India, Russia. We say that 64% of our defense procurements are from Russia. But now we are also tilting towards United States. Now how it, this one. So like this. And the third aspect is that India and the regional partners like India and EU. India and EU. Now the Brexit deal is there. Now the questions will be asked. How far the Brexit deal will affect India and UK relations or India and EU relations? What are the challenges before India? Of course, Brexit is between United Kingdom and EU. But they may ask, what are the implications on India? That is the question. And India and Shanghai Cooperation Organization, India and OPEC, India and APEC, India and SARC. We have a separate SARC summit, India SARC summit like this. So these are the things. One is that India and the neighbors, India and the superpowers are the big great nations like USA, Russia, France, UK like this, Japan. Third one is the India and the regional partners. And sometimes they ask questions within our partners like SARC, how to rejuvenate SARC. We haven't heard much about SARC, this one, because it has become almost a cage or a stage for India and Pakistan and trying to defeat each other. So how we can rejuvenate SARC? So these kind of questions basically come. Again, I always say that while dealing with international questions, you always deal with the current affairs and the debates, especially the debates in Rajasabha TV, that is India's World. And there is a program called Prime Meridian in DD News, are very helpful. Because there the former diplomats come, the government persons who have worked in the field, they come and debate on various international relations. And there is internal security, there is a program called Security Scan in Rajya Sabha TV. That is also an excellent program. So these programs will give an insight about the international relations.
Sir, do you think that fluency in English can also affect the interview?
Not only in interview or in the civil service main examination also. If you know a simple English, understandable English, that is sufficient. As I know, since I have written 4 times, I have gone to the interview 4 times. After getting my IPS also, I gone into 3 times the interview. I understand that UPSC has a twin pillars. One is the simplicity, another one is the originality. You write simple English, no flowery language is required. You exactly hit at the topic and write on the mains paper. And in the interview also, be specific and say in a simple English, that is sufficient. Of course, there is in UPSC, even you can take the help of a translator and you can give the interview in your native language or the language that is decided in the Indian Constitution. There are 22 languages, there you can give also. But I always recommend, this is my personal reason, if you know a bit of English, a good English, working English, then it is better to give it in English. Why means, for example, a translator sits. You tell in your own language, then the translator will listen. Translator will translate it to English and he will tell to the interview panel. So there may be a communication gap. You tell 100%, he may not, might listen 90%, but translate 70%. Finally, he tell the answer again. So to prevent this, this one, always better, I think that if you are comfortable in English, go with the English this one. One thing is that there is one program for hearing news for hearing impaired in morning news, in DD News. There, the news is told very slowly. Unlike in the news channels, they read very vastly, and the people who are not better in English, they can hardly understand. If you see that news for hearing impaired, there the news is told slowly, then you can listen. This is the one thing. Second thing is that For example, if you understand the news in Hindi, you watch the English news also. Then you will came to know what are the corresponding words or what is the corresponding news that they want to tell in Hindi and they are translating in English. So I request this one is that you watch both English or Hindi, your native language news, as well as this one. That is the one. And the newspapers also. If you have a local newspaper, you read that one, and English this one. This is that. Third, I almost say that you always try to start speaking English with small words, and always try to write something, at least 5 sentences, 6 sentences. Start writing something in English. Then give it to somebody, and they will correct your mistakes. And by the time over a period of months, then you can speak a better English, and you can convey betterly. That is what I say.
Thank you so much for all the insights that you shared with us about the exam and the tips that you give for the students. It will really be helpful for all the students watching the show right now. Sir, let's divert our topic a bit. Since you have worked in the CBI for so long, for so many years, I would like to have your opinion on the recent fiasco of the CBI that took the news by storm, with the resignation of the director of CBI, Mr. Alok Verma, and the related events that took place. What is your view on the whole incident that occurred? Also, can you tell us, like, if you think there is a hidden part of the story that the public is not able to see?
First of all, I must say that since I am in government servant and we are the government servants, we cannot comment on the decisions taken by the central government. And even if any citizen cannot go against the verdict of the Supreme Courts and the courts. Courts are at most supreme, this one. Now, the fiasco in CBI is almost over, as you know. That has been, the officers are transferred out, and that has been this one. In an organization, these are the challenging times that this one. But having worked in CBI, I must say CBI has a great working culture. It is challenging, and it is almost interesting, and a great learning experience in working in CBI, because I must say our investigation ends till we submit the charge sheet. But in CBI, it continues till it finally ended in the court. That is another one. So you always learn about the court procedures and all those things, and you do the investigation very diligently and very rule bounded and all those things. So in this way, the working of CBI is a very great institution. Apart from the debates about the resignation of the former director and all those things, since I am out of CBI for quite some time, and it depends upon the person to person how they view it. This is, but the organization will continue to work. It will continue to work as a very good organization and all those things. Serve the nation, as I can say.
Sir, in the wake of the events relating to the difference in opinion of the centre and the different states of the northeastern region on the Citizenship Amendment Bill, do you think that the latest provisions provided on the Citizenship Amendment Bill should be inducted in the country on the national security perspective? Like, keeping the ethnic sentiments aside, if we look about the national integration or the national security, do you think that this bill should be passed?
Again, it is the bill that has been in the parliament, and the elected members of the parliament will decide on the issue. One thing, it is sure that our northeastern states have their own indigenous culture, and they have their own indigenous identity and all those things. As per as today's newspaper, the chief ministers of all the northeastern states will apprise the home minister to their concerns and all those things. I hope that the central government central government and the northeastern states will come together and came to a one correct decision that is better for the national interest, better for the progress and development of the northeastern states, and at the same time our safeguarding the indigenous culture and this one, and taking also the securities point of view. I hope that that will be chalked out between the center and the states. Of course, each state has its own this one, and we have to, both the central government and the state government are very, curious,
work in unison.
unison, and with a lot of development activities going on in Northeast. I think it is a good time that both of them will check out the issue and try to solve it, so that it will not emerge as a major law and order this one, or a security fiasco. I think so. I hope so.
Thank you so much for all your answers and all the insights that you have provided. It will be really helpful for all the candidates watching this show. And thank you so much once again for being a part of this show and the honor that you have given us by being here. Thank you, sir.